Welcome to the ITSP Magazine Podcast Network. You're listening to a new episode of Off the Record, a student abroad podcast, where your host, Saman Fatima, will cover the lengths of what it means to be a student and faculty. Saman and her guests will explore how, why, and what students, especially international students, face when they move abroad to complete their undergrad, master's, or PhD. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
Hi everyone, we're back with another episode on Off the Record with Saman. And today we're having a very special guest again, where we discuss the master's degree program, how she perceived it, how she chose it, and how she went through it. And now she's working as well after her degree program. So we would be walking down with the master's program that Ananya did with Duke University. And any questions that you have, you can reach out to her later. But yeah, before we start, I really would like to welcome Ananya on this podcast episode that she agreed upon to. And we're really happy and we appreciate it that you're ready to share your instances and experiences with everyone here. So, on to you to introduce yourself. Where are you from? What college you went to? Where are you right now? What program you did? And yeah, off to you.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. I do understand the importance of these podcasts, gathering this information while you are choosing your universities. And so I wanted to be a part of it. Um, my name is Ananya Chowdhury, and I did my undergrad, that is BTech, Bachelor's in Technology in Engineering and Management in India. Um, After completing my undergrad, I was working in Accenture as application development analyst. And this is during that time that I realized, okay, like I want to go into product management. I was working with the product owners. I was kind of involved in like writing user stories and kind of the work that the product managers do. And I felt like I had more passion towards that line rather than, coding and engineering stuff. So that's when I did a bit of research and I found some common people who from other universities in India who made it to Duke University and other like Purdue, CMU, all of those universities. And I did my research, and Duke aligned with my interest and what I wanted from this program. And I would say Duke was kind of my dream university. And I was really happy to get into the Master's in Engineering Management program. And yeah, I graduated in December 2023. Right now, I am working as an associate product manager in my current organization. So, yeah, that's the introduction.
I really get excited when I hear people talking about that the degree that they graduated with from the college. That's their dream university. That's like the best part that you were able to complete that, be part of that institution, and so happy about completing that dream. So I really wanted to congratulate you on your graduation, and now you're working full fledged. So just moving to the main question, how is like life after being a student, now being a corporate girl? How does it feel? Like, do you miss out on things?
You do miss out on the free food that
I
that
agree.
that you used to get in your university. The concerts and everything. I mean, the events. I work remotely, as in like I'm always inside my house right now working, and I do not go out a lot. So those events at Duke used to like kind of push you, like to maintain your social life, to maintain your academics and like balance both of them. But right now, I feel like it's more like working and working, where I'm not giving myself enough time to enjoy the other parts of life. So yeah, I regret that. And of course, like Duke campus is something I loved. And yeah, I just miss the campus view a lot.
I I really hear that a lot, and I am in the same boat as well. That student life was way different and like way eventful and colorful as compared to this boring like 9 to 5 thing, and then you're just sitting and you have nothing in the evenings or in the afternoons to do. And still, I am happy that I still don't have that assignments and project due dates, but that comes with a price that you do not have an eventful life now much as compared to
Yeah.
being a student.
But I kind of enjoyed those assignments and projects because so in our like engineering management program, most of them used to be team projects, and you would decide, brainstorm, and work on those projects, and it would be so much fun. But right now I think I kind of miss that too, honestly. Like, I didn't think I would miss those assignments, and the panic you get at 11:59 p.m.
Oh
Okay,
God,
it's
yeah,
ready.
you just made
Yeah.
me go into the flashback. 11:59 is like a thing, like and I would not be lying, like I have submitted couple of assignments at like 11:30 as well. Like, and then there used to come like a red error that there is some issue,
Yeah.
refresh the page, and you say, what?
Yeah.
So, those panic attacks were a thing at that time, and then sitting together, doing things together. Yeah, that I agree. So those were good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, so when you were back in India, I know you have experience working into industry, and then you probably went on being a student again. So, back to student life. So, how was your experience, when you were applying for universities back from India? What was your, obviously, I know Duke was your dream university, but what was the selection criteria that you did among, a platter of other universities you got admits into?
Yeah. So when I started my selection process for universities, so I was looking, like, you of course have to look at the tuition fees, for example, like, of course. So I looked at those, and then the academic flexibility, like what are the core subjects and what are the electives, and are those aligning with your interests. So I found, for example, like Duke's electives were really vast, and you could choose from a lot of options for the electives. So that is something which I was really impressed about. And then yeah I think the cultural diversity played a huge role for me to again select Duke as one of my dream universities or my top priorities. Apart from that, Duke has this flexibility that it gives to the students. So you can complete the course, the engineering management course, within 2 semesters or 3 semesters or 4 semesters. It totally depends on you. So, and the amount that you pay for per semester is also different. So you have to pay for 2 semesters. That's there. But for the third semester, for example, there are no tuition fees. You only pay the student fees, which is the insurance and some other student fees that's involved there. So third semester, no tuition fee. So most people or most students, they actually opt for the 3 semester course, because it's like 2 semester feels like too much of pressure, where you have to, so Duke has this requirement, you have to finish 4 core courses and then 4 electives. So to finish it in 2 semesters, you have to be like, have no social life. You have to select like 4 core or four for each semester, and you have to get done with it. So usually people select 3 semesters, because third semester anyway doesn't have tuition fees, and then you can spread those courses along those 3 semesters. But regarding the current job market, I have seen also, larger number of students, they this time they opted for the 4 semester courses, because the job scene was not clear, and then they were not getting the required internship opportunities. They did not have good internship experiences, and they wanted to do more internships. So that is how they also stretched it till the 4 semesters. So that is something which is really good about Duke. I liked, and you can actually select when you want to end your course.
So, just to understand, like, it's like four core and four electives that needs to be compulsorily done. But once you're not paying, like third semester onwards, when you're done with these courses, what else do you have to take up in those semesters?
So that's the thing. So if you have completed your requirements, you cannot continue to the 4th semesters. So that is how you have to um, um, decide. Or like what I'm saying is, the electives are not hard and fast rules. So electives you can increase, like you can do, for example, 5 electives, you can do 6 electives. But core, you have to finish, like only you have to do 4 core courses. So you have to spread those 4 core courses along those 4 semesters. So for example, for me, I took all 3 core courses in my first semester. So I couldn't select another one until my 3rd semester. So if I would have selected the fourth one in my second semester, I couldn't finish my I couldn't extend till my 3rd semester. I would have had to finish my course in the second semester.
Got it. So, like that flexibility, like you have to choose it for yourself, and how does it works for yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough. So, can you just walk us through your application process to Duke as well? Like, when did you apply to, and what were the things that were needed as part of the application process? Like all that you submitted back to the college, and anything that came after the sorry, after the offer letter as well, like any sort of video interviews or any essays that they need as an extension, or like what was the process with Duke?
Yeah. So, my process started quite late. Like, I do not recommend that. But also, I had a step ahead because I was already preparing for my CAT exams for MBA. So, I had, the aptitude exam knowledge and all of that. So, but if someone's like preparing from just the beginning, it's very difficult. Like, you have to still give the GRE exam, you have to still do the language exams, IELTS, TOEFL, any of that. So my process, starting with my process, it started quite late. When I was like, okay, I'm not doing MBA in India, so I want to like just in my head to just fix that I want to do engineering management. And then I selected the course and the some of the universities, as I said, like again listing them like priority wise. And I think I started October. July August is when like I was going through the exams, the GRE, and October is when I like started applying for like the application process. So you have to take the GRE exam, you have to take the TOEFL or the IELTS exam. I personally took the IELTS exam. And there is a requirement. I think Duke has a requirement of 7.5 in IELTS, and I had like more than that, so I was eligible. And then you have to also look at the eligibility criteria, like the GPA that the course requires you to have. It's not again hard and fast rule. Like if it says like, oh, your GPA needs to be like somewhere around 3.5 of 3.5 or above, you can, if you have like 3.2 or 3.3, I've also seen like students applying for that, so that's fine. But just like to keep in your head that, oh, this is like the requirements. And so once you give those and you start the application process, you have to of course pay the application fee. And you will need LORs, which is the letter of recommendations. So this why I'm saying all this thing is because you have to plan all these things. Like if you start late and then you did not plan your LORs, I had to like go to my university, request my principal of my college, and then the head of department for all those letter of recommendations, and that takes time. So you have to kind of plan all those things. So Duke needed 3 letter of recommendations. I took one from principal, one from head of department, and one from any one subject teacher in my college undergrad. And then you have to write the statement of purpose, the SOP. And this is something I want to talk a bit about. So I've seen like some people just, writing their what they have accomplished, what they have achieved in their lives. And it's not to show that your academic achievements or what you have done in life only. It also should, like, give an idea of why you want to go to Duke, or why is that passion, what value does Duke bring in your life, or how is it changing you as a person. So I've seen like SOPs where students have mentioned, a bit of like given a personal touch, or uh, kind of open their hearts about why they want to come into Duke. Those kind of got more attention. So yeah, so SOPs and LORs, CVs, you have to submit your CVs. And yeah, I think that's all that I can remember. um Essays. So Duke had, so the process also changes. So during my time they also had some questions, as in, tell me something about Duke which you are too excited about, or something particular about this course which and you look forward to achieve from this course. So those, and they would mention like the limitations of the words that you can use for those answers. So you have to like mention those, write those answers, and submit that. That's the process for the application. And once the application is done, the there is early round and a late round. So the early round batch is like you have to submit by January. During our time, that was the thing. And the late ones can submit it by March. And the decision also comes in batches after that. Like the early ones will get like early decisions, and the late ones it will come late, something like that. So what then Duke does is Duke will go through all of your SOPs and LORs, and if they think you're eligible, they will send you a interview invite. Now, during our time, it was a recorded interview. Like they will ask a question, you have to record your answers with the video on and everything, and then they will select you, or they'll give you the offer later. But the next batch that I have seen, which came for the engineering management program, they had like one-to-one interview process with the professors, or I would say the management, I guess. So that was the next batch that I saw. And then the next batch, like this year, the people that are coming, the process was a bit more different. Like this year, the alumni, uh, the people that just graduated or graduated within a few years, they were taking the first round of interviews, just to see whether it's a good fit, or just to give a feedback to the management that, okay, like, yeah, I feel they are ready for Duke. So the alumni were taking the or give, I won't say giving decisions, but like giving the feedback, the first round feedback. So, and from there the management takes on the process. So it changes every year, I have seen. So it's best to just like go to the website and check the what are the application requirements.
Like thank you for sharing that, because it's quite like aligned, and it's properly like done through, where every profile is being better checked and seen. And it's more of what you said was like a whole package that they see. It's not just the academic accomplishments or achievements that you have done, but it's more of you do need to have, like, it's just not all work and no play. So that's there, and that I've seen majorly missing with a lot of students coming in. They just think like having a good GPA and a good academic background would let them in, but you really need to be an all-rounder. So that's there. One thing that I wanted to ask, like, Ananya, is this degree program like just starts in fall, or it starts in like starts with another time as well, like maybe a spring course as well, or it's just starts in fall?
No, it Duke has for the engineering management program, they have a spring batch as well. But uh, after COVID, just after COVID, like our batch, because of COVID and other factors, a lot of people they deferred it to the next semester or the fall batch. So that's how our fall batch, for example, like the usually the student number for the program engineering management program is limited to 150-ish, but during our time it was 230 plus, for example. So that's when they had to like, and then the current job market, and so combining all of these factors, I think they decided that they are going to cancel one of the spring semesters and or the spring batches, and I think one of the spring batches in between that was not that was cancelled. But overall I think there is a spring batch, yeah, but it is like condition based, where during that particular year it was not done, but usually I think they would do it.
Got it, got it. So it's like flexible for you to come either in fall or spring, depending on when did you like what for what batch did you apply the application for?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. One thing more is you mentioned like a range for the test score, that is IELTS, that was having a band of 7.5. Would you like to share like what is the selection range for the GRE score for this particular program? Like what score do they expect? Like if you can give us a range as well, that would help. Like something under this range would be a good score for this degree program.
I honestly do not remember the GRE range, but it was written. So that's why I'm saying like it was written in the requirement. And during our time, for example, it was like I, for example, did not submit the GRE scores because mine were not the best one. So during COVID, they also had that option where if you do not want to give the GRE scores, it is okay. But that also meant that you have to be really good in other fields. Like if you're not giving a certain requirement, it was not a requirement, but if you're not giving a certain thing which is like enhancing your profile, like you have to be good in the other profile other fields. So I wouldn't suggest that, like that is not something a lot of students would do, but I do know a few students who did that. So I did not submit my GRE scores.
And any sort of like subsection in your application process that you had, or maybe off the application process you had for the aids, like any sort of financial aids that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so some Duke engineering management program has scholarships for very limited number of students, and for them you usually do not have to go on or apply somewhere else or fill any other forms. It is there in the application form. Like if you need a financial aid, like there is a box saying, oh, do you need financial aid? If you select that, and there might be following questions which you have to fill. And also if you mention in your SOP or the statement of purpose that this is why I need the financial support, or this is why I feel I'm eligible for the financial support, and then the Duke Financial Aid Center, they take it from there. And yeah, it's in the single application. Like there is no other separate application where you need to fill that.
That's fair. That's fair. At least as part of the application process, you're stating it. So I guess that gets into the eyes of the management, and then they could decide basis on your profile, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Like
So
if you pass those eligibility criterias, they will consider you as okay, you have passed those criterias, and they will give you that financial aid on their own.
okay, got it, got it. So that's as part of the application process or the SOP that you submit back to the management is where you actually list down. So
Yeah.
FYI to everyone here. Nextly, it's something that I guess everyone would have it in mind when they think about Duke University or coming to Duke University is more of the tuition fees and addressing or managing the tuition fees. And so we would like to know your way. How did you manage those expenses? What was your experience, and how all those management you did on your end, and how did it work for you? Like maybe your perspective can help a lot of other people.
Yeah. So first of all, I had to take a loan. So and with loans, like per semester you have to request, and then they give you tuition fees. So apart from that, you have to kind of manage your personal amount that you are collecting from your loan account. So you don't want to, so that's another thing, is like the students, they don't want to take out a lot of personal loans, because at the end of the day it's like accumulating, and then you have to pay interest on that. So mostly international students would do part-time jobs, or which you have to do inside the campus. But there are also other options, like they're teaching assistantships, where or I think graders who like grade the courses, and teaching assistants also have hourly wages that they get like a few hours every week. It is limited, the part time is limited to 20 hours per week for F1 students. And honestly, like as long as you are inside campus, you can do any job. uh, Limited to 20 hours per week, but during holidays it's 40 hours per week. So during holidays, some students, like they, if you really care about it, like I did not want to do that. It's like over stressing myself with so many hours of work. Like you get like 10 days of holiday, you kind of want to like just go somewhere, clean your mind, get ready for the next semester. So I did not do that, but I do know people or students who do that. So that's what, like you can work during holidays 40 hours per week. And managing expenses, personally I would say I am a minimalist kind of girl, like when I'm a student. So my room had almost nothing, like honestly, like just a bed, just a table, just a lamp. So because the thought process was, so you come here and you almost get no time, and like blink of an eye and you a few months passes, and then after that you have to join internship. You do not know where you are getting your internship. The moment you come back from internship, within a few months you have to get a full-time job. So it's like you are just moving and moving. So there's no for from my perspective, it's not needed to have a lot of stuff in your house. And so I kind of was like towards the lower end of like spending. And I would say Duke has like per hourly wage was minimum was 15 $15 per hour, but this year it increased, so that's a good thing. And you would, if you're like working 20 hours per week, you are still getting like around 800 $900, something like that. And then the rent, you have to consider rent. And the rent, people usually take like share the apartments. Some people, if you want to cut down on your rent, you can also share the rooms, but I personally did not share rooms. I wanted a bit more privacy, and I had one room in a two BHK apartment, and it was around 750 ish. But that is also on lower side. Like if you want to go a bit higher, if you want to go to a bit better apartments with like furnished stuff, then it's like 900 or 1000. It depends on you, but for me it was like 700. And I was giving my rent from my part-time earnings, and I would spend almost like as much as needed on my groceries, which would be kind of like 150, maximum 200 per month. So I would say totally like $1,000. And your groceries, rent, and like the your needs in life are sorted. Yeah.
I agree to it. And if you want to talk about like what was your part-time thing like on like at the college, were you like a TA, or what was something that you were working on? And is it like a process to apply for it, or it's like a first come first serve basis? Like how does it works for Duke?
Okay. So I did not expect, but the part-time opportunities were very competitive. I thought I'll come into Duke, I'll figure my stuff, as in like where I'm staying, what I'm doing for the few days, and then I'll search for part-time. But apparently there were people before they came here, they already had a part-time. So they applied from India itself. Like it is that competitive. It was that competitive, and I had no idea. I was like in my own world. I was like, okay, I'll like apply. I'll go there, maybe spend few days and apply. But clearly, it was like, so that's why my part time also was like not then and there. Like I did not get part time for like maybe 2 3 months, I guess. So yeah, so there are people who apply from India itself, and they come here with a part time, and then they join here as soon as they come and as soon as they start the course. uh, Duke has a website, Duke's internal website or portal, where it's called JobX, and any part-times opportunities at Duke inside the campus are posted there, and you can go there, you can search, and you have to like submit your resume, same thing like application. And I won't say it's first come first serve basis, but it's like it depends on your recruiter if they like you. Same with job process. Like it's like you, there is a question like why you want to work here, and what motive, what um made you interested in the in this role. And so you write it, and whatever the recruiter finds the most suitable, you just get the job. So that is for part-time, and my part-time was in one of the labs in Duke, but it was like administrative work, like maintaining the labs. Like it's a very like student lab work kind of thing, helping the graduate and the PhD students with their readings and all of that. But you can do teaching assistantships as well. And you have many other, like there are sports team, boys generally like that because you get to travel a lot with the basketball team, with the Duke sports team. And it's the same, it's like kind of administrative work, kind of like project management thingy, team management thing going on there. But yeah, and all part-time jobs do not pay you same. Like mine, how much it paid is not equal to how much like a teaching assistantship student will get. So it depends.
Okay, so the hourly wages differs there. Like that's also competitive as
Yeah,
compared to. Okay, got it, got it.
like
But
yeah,
everyone gets it. Like, is there like a thing like everyone eventually gets it? Like,
eventually gets it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like I thought maybe I won't get, but everyone eventually gets it. Yeah. Also, you have to think like one batch goes, like 2022 batch goes, graduates, and then there are all these open positions right now. So now if you don't get just right then and there when you start the course, it's okay, like wait till December, and when this batch graduates, you have all these open roles where you can apply.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's fair, I guess. That works for majorly all sorts of TA, RA, and obviously the fellowship roles when you work. And it's more of you're either grading a senior batch or maybe a junior batch,
Yeah.
depending on what professor or what faculty member you're under. And yeah, that gives you altogether a different experience. With my experience, I've been a TA and I've been an RA both. I
Yeah.
personally lean towards the RA side because I don't want to get into the grading shit.
Yeah.
It's bad. And there's just a big fuss and nuisance about it.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one. So I kind of did not go for one of the TA positions I was offered, but it had so much work, and it was my last semester. I had to like, I took the difficult courses in my last semester. I had to do my job search, and I could not go through like pages and pages of the reading those and grading those. I was like, you know what, I mean, it looks good on my resume, but I'll pass, it's okay.
Like the fall semester, I did not had a choice. I went for the TA. So I was working under a professor, and I was aligned with the grading of the assignments and checking of the answer sheets, like midterm and final term papers for database management system. And that is something like there's no gray area in that subject. It's either black or white. There's nothing in between. Like that's the you have to create a query or you have to tell the command name. That's it. Like if it's drop table, it's drop table. If it's delete table, it's delete. Like there's just one answer to it. Oh my god, I saw really students having a hang on my grades and all those marks that I gave, and they were like, someone, I really want you to check this answer for us. What is wrong with this? What is incomplete? And I was like, I also have an answer key. Like, I have to strictly follow that one. And please walk up to the professor. Don't make me the bad person here. I was like all done through in the fall semester, and I request, like, I was working under the same professor, and I just asked her, like, can I just work on a couple of research projects that you have that you're working on? I'd be really, like, I just not told her that I don't want to go do the TA thing, but probably I want to have more exposure, and that's when I got rid of it. Like, it's bad. Like, you be the bad
Yeah.
person always. And like the class had like good 100 folks. So
Yeah.
it's like 100 assignments, 100 grading, 100 midterms, 100 final terms. I can't. No, I can't do it. So it's pretty bad when it comes to
And
TSA.
last semester, you don't want to deal with that. Like it's like so many things to do. Like that is, I would say that's the like least important stuff during that time.
Yeah. And then, when you're being paid, then you're being actually been monitored for the number of hours you put in. So, they actually check you, like, are you giving 20 hours a week? If not, complete it in the next week. So the next week you either do 24 hours or 30 hours to complete the previous week. So I was like, no, I can't do it. It's better I move to the research work. At least I'll be exposed to a lot of other things, new things actually. So yeah, that's there. And I know with my university as well, it was very competitive. Although we got the TA and RShips along with the offer letter, that differs, I guess, from
Really?
university. Yeah, so we got it along with the like when you apply, you also send up your resume and everything, and that's when they shortlist you and they let you know that you are selected for the TARA ships. But closer to your like coming date when you will come here, we'll let you know, like, we have paired you up with which professor actually. So probably then the NDAs get signed and everything is done, that we're all good, so that you can apply for all those things on the portal and get paid every month. So it wasn't done on an hourly thing in my university. That was the worst part. So they had set up a amount, like that's what they'll give you, and that's what they gave us every month for 20 hours a week. So
I'm not sure whether for Duke that's the thing, but I do know for TAs, you get to apply or get chosen for a TA position only if you have like, not only but mostly if you have already if you're done with that course already in the previous semester. So for example, if I want to do a TA under a management teacher, or the for the course management, I should have already done the management course in the previous semester, and then now I can show, okay, I have like knowledge of this, and now I'm applying and now I'm eligible. But it does not apply to everything though. So yeah.
got it. I guess it differs from university to university, but I've met a couple of folks during this podcast as well, and I did one episode with two folks from Georgia Tech, and they had this thing that if you take TAs and RShips,
Yeah.
you're actually waived off your fees. So like you pay nothing during, like, the tuition fees is all waived off. You just pay like the student fees, like the insurance and other miscellaneous things.
Oh,
The
really?
entire thing goes off the hook. So like my eyes were this open. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
wow, that's amazing. So with my university as well, this was the thing that if you are a TA or an RA, we'll just give you a discount of this much amount to your semester fee. So it was a huge number. So usually folks used to go for it so that they can reduce it, and it used to go off by 50%. So that was the best part. But getting it to $0 was a
Yeah.
big thing for me to hear from them. And I was really happy, like Georgia Tech does this like completely
That's good. Yeah.
make it zero. Yeah. So I guess it differs how every university has maintained that system of the TAs and RAs, and how you're providing the aids. This is in some forms you're giving help to the students. So, okay. That was fruitful to discuss about the application process and everything. Wanted to know more about your visa experience. Like, how did it go for you? What were the challenges for you? I know with Duke University, it's like an easy shot for you during the interview, but how was the process for you?
So, okay, let me remember if I remember all the forms correctly. So, the first thing is you get the offer letter, and then, for example, in my case, it was like, so Duke, if I'm very sure, Duke asks like whether you can support your studies, and you have to show, do you have the funds for it? So like if I took a loan, you have to show that, okay, I took a loan, and this is my loan amount, and this, like I'm in a good position basically. And that is when Duke will check everything, all the documents, and it will issue you the I-20 form. And then you have to fill the DS-160, which is the non-immigrant application form, keep the pay receipts, and schedule the interview with the US consulate. That all is like common, general there. But since Duke takes this extra step, to see whether you can support yourself, whether you can support your studies. So that, since it is done by Duke, you are kind of grilled a bit less during the interview. So because they also know that, okay, this university, they have done their own check-ins, and she or he is ready, uh, they can support themselves, and financially there is no problem. So that is done. And then the number of questions that you face during the visa interview is also less in that case. Like during my time, I faced only two questions, like, tell me a bit about your course, like what do you know, and what interested you in this course. So I started talking, and it was like within a minute he just stopped, and then the guy was like, the second question was basically, can you support yourself financially? And I was like, yes. And that's all for me. It was all, and it's done, approved. But for example, so that's why, university selections are also very important. So you have to like keep all these things in mind as international students. That, does my university do their own research, and do they provide me these advantages? Because I also know a few universities, and I could see when I went for the visa interview, people were grilled like in front of me. And when I saw, like, when I'm saying grilled as in like grilled, like the depth of the questions were like, how much loan did you take, where did you take it from, like number wise, everything. Like I was kind of getting uncomfortable. So yeah, I mean, I did not had to face any of that. I saw a lot of rejections, which kind of made me a bit anxious that day. But that's, I think, the advantage that the few universities like Duke, Stanford, and Purdue, they have, like, where they do their own research. And then when you go there, there are not many questions left for the visa officers to ask you. So it was pretty smooth, honestly.
That's really good. Like it's good that you pointed out this thing that Duke has their own step where they actually did all those checks before, so that you're pretty easier in front of the window when you are in front of the visa officer. But can you just let us know, like, when did you receive your offer letter? Like, you were the part of first round, like around what month? um
I think it was April beginning, like
okay.
maybe 1st April, honestly.
Okay.
Very, very, yeah.
Okay, and like, how was your like appointment scheduling? Like, was it easy for you, or like it took you a couple of weeks to get an appointment at the consulate office?
Um, it was very difficult.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I wanted to
now
know.
that I remember, I almost forgot how difficult it was. It was very difficult. Like, people were like, I don't know about other people, like I know me, and then some of the my close people I was talking to, we were on the website. Like, you would see one open spot, and next second you just click it, it takes you to the next page and blank. So, like, I actually used some of the tools that are available in
Yeah.
on internet, where you can like send alerts to yourself, and I would get those alerts, and I'd be like, as soon as I'm getting alerts, I'm like, almost like throughout the day I was on that, either via mobile or via laptop. So it was pretty difficult, but I also know of few people who suggested me as well, but luckily I did not have to do that because I could book myself. But people also went with a few consultancies who help you through that. But I'm not sure whether that's the best step that you can take, because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
they have your credentials. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it works. Like, I know people for whom it worked and they actually booked for them and they could
Mhm.
go. It was hassle free for them. I mean, they were kind of like doing whatever going on with their lives, not having to think about this,
Yeah.
whereas us, we like entire day we are just looking at that. So yeah, but it works, but I personally am a very anxious person, so if I'm giving my credentials to someone, I am like, okay, like let me think about that. So
I was also in the same boat. Like I got the appointment really like it was more of like I was almost like at the verge of missing my flight day because everything else you plan up and it's just the visa interview and you're just manifesting that everything is all set up. It's just you have to anyways get that approval from the visa officer. So I got my appointment at 4 in the morning, like 4 in the morning as per Indian Standard Time. And that's when I just rushed in, booked it, and I was all good that okay, cool, chill. I got the appointment, this and that. But yeah, there was the option of agents, consultancies, and everything. And I was a little skeptical. The sharing of credential was still secondary for me. The money mattered more to me because I was anyways putting in a lot of money in the process and everything that has been through. So I was like, this is the least I can do. If this much we have done, I can book an appointment for myself. Like, what else can go wrong? Like, I'll not go. That would be the last thing. I was like, I can't pay a lot because I was supposed to come in August and I got my offer letter in June. So I
that's
just had like a month and a half. So I was like, let's see, let's just see how much water am I into. And I just took it on myself, like, let it be. I'll just do it. If not, I'll go next year, I'll get it deferred. But I'm not paying more. And they took, like, they charged like good amount of 15-20,000 as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And they just say whatever amount. Like there is no justification, like whatever, because they know how desperate you are at that point. So
Like, the first question they ask is like, when is your flight? And
yeah.
that's when you tell them, like, this is my flight. And there's like, okay, there's just 45 days or 50 days. So they charge us for that. So I was like, it's easier. I know a lot of people take it. It's not a wrong mode of thing, but it's just something just did not maybe work for the both of us. That's what we want to put it out as.
Also, another thing was scheduling the flights. I could not, because everything was so uncertain. I could not, like, I was like, should I book my flights and then wait for booking my visa slots, or should I do it later? So I was like still thinking, and I saw like some people are very optimistic. I am not. I think I'm not. So I saw them like booking their flights, and everything was done. But still the visa slots were not gotten, or they did not schedule that, and they were like very optimistic, oh, like visa will do it. But in my brain, like I was thinking, no, I am first gonna get the visa slots, and after that, how. And you have to also remember, each day the flight amount keeps on increasing. Like I remember someone who did like 2 days before me, and it was like a 50,000 rupees difference. And I was like, what the hell? So yeah. But I
That's
did, like, I booked my visa slots. I finished my visa interview, and when it was done, I had a good feeling. I mean, I think they take your passport if you pass. So when that was done, as soon as that was done, I came home and then I booked my flights. I was like, okay, if it's expensive as well, I am okay with that. But like, I don't like so much of uncertainties and like taking steps ahead without just like, same with the part-time job, right? It's like I
yeah.
like to plan stuff. So yeah.
I got the approval and then I paid my fees. So I played that gamble. I was like, I'll not play the gamble of the fees before the approval. I still get book a flight. That's fine. I can let go of that much amount, but not the fees. So I took that extension from the college that, okay, I wrote back to the college that, okay, this is my date and I'd probably be paying the fees after that. So they're pretty okay and chill about it. But yeah, that's what I did as well. So that's all the permutation combinations you have to work on through, depending on your case, like where are you being late.
Yeah, I think, that's when life starts as an international student in India. Like, I think that was the first uncertainty or series of uncertainties I saw. And I thought, okay, like, that's all. Like, once I'm there, it's okay. And you don't know, it just keeps on continuing. Like, it keeps on continuing
It
for
will
us.
not stop. Like
Yeah.
we're working now after being students, it will not stop because
Like
one or
right
the
now
other.
also we have stuff with visas and everything,
Yeah,
renewals, this, that. So it
correct.
will never stop. Like we are always, I feel, in a position where we are uncertain and where we are uncomfortable, and still we have to take decisions. So I've like come in terms with that. I'm still coming in terms with that.
Yeah.
But
Same
yeah,
here, same here. Like, you're into the process and then, okay, your work permit is expiring or you want to get off that lottery system or anything of that sort. Things just come and go and then you have to go and get it stamped, change the visa. So, be ready, like get like a good book folder where you can keep all of your documents because they'll not stop coming.
yeah, and that is something someone who lives here, they told me
Yes,
that
as an international
keep
student.
a
Yeah.
record of everything,
Yep.
everything, because once like you won't even know. Let's talk about green card and stuff. Like we don't know anything, but let's talk like years down the line, when like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you are like in another process, and they will ask you for documents like 10 years back, and then you'll be like, oh, where we didn't even keep this document because we thought it's not important, but it is important. So that is one advice I got, and it's really helpful. Like you
Yeah,
should
I
have.
agree. I agree to it as well because I have been maintaining that documentation as well. Like, till the date I landed here, to the current times, like I haven't gone back yet. So I'm keeping a record of everything. Like, you don't know, anything could come up. So, there should be every record of it so that, you can present it later as well, be it your taxations or anything else of that sort. Everything, keep a record of everything. Not trying to scare you all off, but it's good just to keep a record. And it's anyways you're on visa, so you
Yeah,
are entitled to present all those records one day at a time.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's more of, we understood like the before the party begins things, that what all you prepped up to be part of Duke. And now, all visa thing done, everything done, and you're packed up to come to the university, explore the new city. So uh just in brief, tell us like, how was your transition process? How was it like the first couple of weeks when you came here, um, from India to US?
It's challenging. Of course, everyone knows it has to be. Um, so first few days you just figure out, like, you don't have a car, you figure out how to get your groceries, how to get your mattress, how to get everything, and you plan everything in a group. Usually because it's cheap when you're going in a group. So in a different country, it's safer when you're going to a certain place that you don't know. So first few days, I would say, yeah, just figuring out, uh, like setting up the apartment and setting up all the other settings, getting groceries or things you need in your house. Apart from that, the like at Duke had a orientation week, like 1 week long, and it was so good. I think, yeah, the orientation week, as far as I know, it started during our batch, like fall 2022, and it was very successful. Like we were getting food every day, cookies and salads and like good food. And for 7 days it was kind of like this simulation events that they were doing for students. Take part in this, then you have a break. Like it was like kind of like studying but not studying, kind of like small short projects, but they were giving you break where you can like enjoy food, and in the evening they are doing something fun for you guys. So Duke played a major role like in that, where students felt very welcomed and they were like settling in, and different professors would come and they would like say what you can expect from the course and being very friendly. One thing which I love about Duke is the faculty. I feel like Duke has one of the best faculties, where you can approach your teachers, your professors anytime. And anytime they are there to guide you, to advise you, to help you, anything. Like it doesn't have to be subject related, it doesn't have to be course related, it can be your personal life. I have seen some students as well go with personal life problems, and they're like, teachers are just through talking them through it. So yeah, so it was like something, the orientation week, we got to learn about the professors, we got to know them. They were like one-to-one sessions with one professors and a group of students, like 6 or 7, and you just communicate with them. So it was really good academic wise, just to get to know your university a bit better, the environment, the culture. Apart from that, if you're like staying, like mostly we stay in student apartments. We stayed in a student apartment, in student apartments, which is very near to Duke. Our campus was West Campus, so we would stay there, and you kind of make friends, you eat with them every day, you go out with your roommates, you figure things out together. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But having said that, one thing I would say is like, you have to also keep in mind that you have to also be very self reliant. Like, you kind of, in this process, you cannot depend on anyone that, okay, like if I'm doing that, I got to do with that person, or I got to do with that group. So if you're depending so much on another person, like that person is not responsible for you. Like they are also coming here for the first time, and they're also figuring things out. So one example for me was, which I always give the example, so I had like an mi phone which operates in India, and it totally did not work here. So my cellular network was not working, my internet's not working, my phone was not working, and I was kind of getting dependent on people. And you feel like, okay, like we're together, we'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, I found out, like, like they are doing their things out, they're also figuring things out. So you cannot depend totally on everyone, but to an extent where you feel like it's helping you, but also like very self-reliant, where you are like, you know where this bus route goes, and you can go on your own if it requires you to, and you can go and do your necessary things and not entirely depend on a group or people.
Yeah. That's one thing here. Like, that's the thing that you have to take in with a pinch of salt. That,
Yeah.
you have to start enjoying your own company. You have to trust yourself. People would like, I would be honest here, when you were a student, you would have like, your study sessions, group sessions, everything together, going everywhere together and having somebody alongside with you. But when you come to that corporate life, those things really go to lesser number of days, and those party times, anything of that sort gets reduced. So eventually you have to stay on your own, you have to do things on your own. So they are there, but still, um that has to be there, that you have to start enjoying your company, so that monotony does not affects you, and all that things. So that's there. Yeah.
I felt that was important, because I had to learn it in a difficult way. So I, like anyone who comes here and like asks for a bit of advice, I'm like, see, it can get lonely here, but you shouldn't feel bad about it, or you shouldn't let yourself get into depression or all those stuff. Like just expect that it gets a bit lonely here, but you should also think of how to navigate through those situations, because there are plenty amount, like Duke for example has social gatherings, international student gatherings, all these events it does for to make you feel welcomed or for you to find people. So why not take advantage of those and roll with it, instead of just feeling like, okay, like I'm missing my family and I'm so sad. So yeah.
It's at the end of the day, the harsh truth, that's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Survival is something that you have to plan it out for yourself, not depending on others always, but still having that family sort of thing, because obviously the friends and everyone you get here are your only family here. So still being independent, but yeah, obviously having people around you, that helps there. Okay. With that being said, like we know, like the job market was really bad starting 2022. I have been into the same boat, and I am really glad that you have this first job after your master's degree. I know it would have taken you couple of couple of bad times, bad interviews, and bad times as well, where you were being ghosted or anything of that sort. That's what we've all seen through. But how was your experience in terms of searching for a job and all of that time?
Hmm. So, again, another advice I got from the seniors or Duke alumni was, please start your internship search early as possible. And then they mentioned the same mistake that they did was, they were like, we started late. And I mean, of course, they got internships, but it was like more anxious time, right? If you're starting late, just imagine how bad the job market is. And on top of that, you're starting late. Like, it's like gone, like it's like a gone case. So I did that too. I wouldn't say I started very late, but I did not understand the intensity or how important it was to, for example, tailor your resume from the beginning. I did not know. I was like, because we didn't do those things in India, right? So we are like, we listen all those things and we're like, okay, we'll do, but in your mind it's still like, okay, like let me still like just put the same resume everywhere. And it was not working, and I was not even bothered. I was like, okay, maybe they're not selected. So what I'm trying to say is to figure that path, that what I need to do, that it is not working out for me. It took some time. So first I started maybe like December to like write down my resume. And then resume, the format you write here is way different than you write in India. So you have to know, like my resume that I submitted for my Duke application looks totally different from what it looks right now. So that, and people like, when they're beginning their journey, they don't realize how much time it's going to take to just write your resume. Like we think, okay, it's like a 1 2 day thing, like we just write what we did, but it's not. Like, like we know how difficult it is. So December, I'm like writing resume, not getting offers, and then no interviews. And I'm like, at this point, February, I'm like kind of getting like anxious. I'm like, what's happening? Because now you see students who got an internship, they are like posting in the group that, hey, like this is this, I'm moving here, is anyone moving to this city with me? So it's like, it makes you more anxious when you know you are not getting any interviews, and then people are there who have their internship offer in their hand. So yeah, so I would say then I realized, like, another thing is Duke has this career services where they give you these tools, um where like different tools, like there are tools like recruitment platforms like Handshake, where you can connect with recruiters and all of that. And then it gives you tools where you can tailor your resume, and it gives you resume points, and it helps you. So the Duke career services really helps you. And then there are some mandatory, some optional um, uh, seminars where it tells you how you can write your resume, how you should approach the job market. So I kind of attended those, and I actually saw a lot of students attending those, and kind of they felt it was beneficial for them. It was beneficial for me. So I attended those, and I kind of started getting more and more idea. Okay, like then this is how I tailor my resume for each job requirement or each job role. And this is how I approach the recruiters on LinkedIn, or this is how I send them cold emails, right? We never sent cold emails, we never sent cold LinkedIn DMs. So that is like my internship search is where it all started. So I was like, okay, what do I write? Like, how do I send this email to this recruiter, or how do we find their email IDs? So all that extra work that you have to put through, it's like a lot, very difficult for international students. And on top of that, recruiters ghosting you. that that I got ghosted multiple times. Like at this point, I don't even remember the count, but I have been ghosted multiple times. And on, like, some unfair stuffs also happened, like, my offer letter got taken back, and then I was promised an offer letter tomorrow, for example, and today I'm like informed, no, like, um the management is not ready to give you the offer letter, or they're not looking for this, all those excuses or all those reasons. So it becomes more and more difficult on us during that time, because now we are putting all those efforts and we are not seeing any result, and we still have to get this internship offers. It's difficult. So that happened with me twice, but eventually very late in summer, I think May-ish, I May 2023, I got my internship in a AI startup, ed tech company. And my experience was really good there. But since it was a startup and it did not have a requirement for a full time role, I knew that from the beginning. So I was already like looking for options, like how to now approach my full time job search. So now what I was now that during the internship I have like gone through the process, I know what I had to do. So now it become a bit more easier during my full time search, and I did all those things. Like for every job role, I was tailoring, tweaking my resume, I was reaching out to the recruiters, I was having a Notion page where I'm like writing and keeping track of all the applications, and which is very important. um Tracking your applications, which again I did not put importance into, but I understood how important it is. And yeah, and just by that I just kept continuing doing the same thing over and over again. And I think my current job, I saw a post from my manager, and I reached out to her, I sent my portfolio, I sent her my resume, and she was interested. And yeah, and that is the good part was, it was not kind of shady, nothing was shady, nothing was unnecessarily delayed. Everything was like, okay, I like your resume, and let's get in the call. And same week, okay. And after the first interview was done, it was like, okay, we like you and we would want you to move into the next round. So what I'm saying is like, it's like not it's it was very clear, very transparent process, which made me interested in the company, in the people, in the team. And while they were like figuring out after the final interview like their own stuff, she was like communicating with me throughout the process. And you get anxious, right? So like if I was not getting reply, I would like again after 2 days text her. And then she was like, Ananya, I'm not ghosting you, I am here, and we are still figuring that out. So do not think like I didn't even mention that. But the good part is they understand, like she understood, or your manager, if they understand that you feel like you might be ghosted or that, and they're like taking active actions to not make you feel that way. I found like I felt very good about the team, and till date I feel very good about the team. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Like the ghosting part is the worst part, and I guess you landed up to a good team and they were working out on things, because sponsorship is another bar for us to get it, because if not that, we're still not secure for the coming years. So that really is important. I went across a couple of startup companies as well. And it's completely fair for startup companies to not have anything for international students, because they're still starting up with things and that is not somewhere they want to focus on. So that is challenging. But talk about like like I know you are a product manager. How does your current role with your organization aligns with the curriculum that you completed with Duke? So how are they proportionate in any ways?
Yeah, so my current organization is financial services industry. And in Accenture, I used to work with my clients, which were also financial services industry clients. So that kind of helped me transition, or I think made my manager seem like I'm eligible for that role. So it was the same thing, but in Accenture, it was, as I told you, it was not direct product management, but I had like idea. I was working with product owners and all of that, and the CRM and like, uh, yeah, I would say the overall product, but not directly. So here, now that I have worked there in the financial services industry there, and now I went through the Duke course and I studied, okay, like now from product perspective, this is what the product manager needs to do, all the product research and managing team, this, that, all. And the good part was in Duke, at Duke, we actually took the courses where we had industry experience or industry exposure, where we are working with the startups and actually giving them strategies, product strategies, which were also utilized by them. It was not like on paper, but which we could see make changes in their product actually. So those consulting projects and all of those kind of helped me transition here. So now all those financial services knowledge, industry knowledge, and then all the product knowledge like mixed together, it's like whatever I kind of imagined or wanted to learn in my new role, I am doing it and I'm learning. I'm pretty happy with the responsibilities, and I would say it aligns with what I thought it would.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Like the degree program fully paid for it.
Yeah.
And whatever you learned, like that is something really important when you get that deja vu feeling that, whatever you learned theoretically during the class, it's more of you more on the practical versions of it. And it just feels good that, okay, now I do it in the real time. And that's what we paid all that amount for actually to get such an experience. So that's amazing. And
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
so a lot of incoming students, they also asked me about the projects, like the Duke projects that have industry exposure, right? And there are a few, honestly, like students choose them usually. Like for me, I had like 2 years of experience before, but there are also freshers who are fresh out of undergrad and they do not have any experience. Now need to have some experience or some industry exposure or industry experience in their resume to show that, okay, like they're eligible for that role. So in that case, like Duke has these courses, um, consulting practicum or design thinking project. What else can I think of? Like there are a few like negotiations, some of the courses that I'm mentioning. It's like for them, you are directly working with the CEO or you're directly working with the company executives and you are giving them strategy recommendations that they actually imply on their products, and they actually share the metrics, how the metrics are changing when they're talking with you. So big part of product management is stakeholder management. Are you able to talk to all of your stakeholders, vendors or different teams, engineers, and based on all those, are you able to give recommendations which are helpful? And Duke projects and these projects, while working with the CEOs and while working with the company executives, it gives you so much of those knowledge, because now you know how what is going on in a CEO's mind, you know what they're thinking of. Some of the recommendations which you think are oh so productive, but in their mind they're like, it is productive but it's not feasible, we cannot do it right now. So to get in that mindset and to understand how my recommendations, whether it's feasible, how it is feasible, can it be implied right now. So yeah, I would say it's all about getting into that mindset, the product manager mindset, and Duke does a really good job of like helping you get into that mindset, I would say. And once you're in that mindset, I think like the rest of the things you can always learn.
And sorry, and it's more of like when you get into that headspace, you just think everything in those terms only, that okay, how can I manage it, how can I make it more tunable, more productive, and then how much feasibility factor it has. Like I know you be the best into this space and you would know it better, and understand the management of it and how can we tune it better. So that's what what we learn, and now what we implement in the real times of management of the project. So that's amazing, and that's good that Duke gives that exposure to folks as well, so that they can brush up and see where do they actually fit in, how much they could put up the feasibility factors for all those uh, projects. So that's great. The very last question that I have here for you before we, end up this podcast is, I really wanted to know and let everyone who is watching out here as well to know more about any sort of community experience that you have, maybe through Duke University, like student societies or anything in general, or any other offline community experience that you had or have seen it, so or have experienced it and want to talk about it.
So, one of the major things that I can think of is one of the conferences that I went to. I think it's a Grace Hopper conference. I went there, and Duke does sponsor you. Maybe not entirely. It depends. Like when I went, the ticket prices were more, so Duke like kind of sponsored half of it. But if you could book it earlier and you got the spot, it was like lesser amount, and in that case Duke is sponsoring for your whole thing. So it was great experience. It was offline experience, and this was literally just before my full-time job, and I could see how crazy people were in that conference. Like honestly, um did I feel it was very productive for me? Maybe not, but that is not why so the thing is how it was projected to us, or how I understood this about the Grace Hopper conference was, okay, if you go to this you get a job, but they should not like, that is not what happens. Like it's like, okay, you go there and you connect with people and you get to network and maybe you'll get a job. But since looking at the times, how difficult it is right now, people were just very anxious, they were desperate, and uh, it was just all over the place. So I did not get any offer, by the way, from GHC. So that is something Duke does, and it does sponsor for your conferences if you want to go somewhere. Limited amount, of course. And then there are different clubs, like there are product management clubs for folks who are interested in product management, or they want to, product management clubs would do, organize these events where you compete within groups and you come up with these new products, and like they continue with the momentum and they keep it going. Then like it depends, like if you're into operations or if you're into supply chain or if you're into consulting, so there are different clubs, consulting clubs, product management clubs, supply chain clubs, and these are organized by the Duke students, like the current students, and they have these cabinet managers or the team that they form, and they bring in people as well to talk about this stuff, like industry leaders. We call it industry leaders, or like let's just say like CEOs of startups and like people who have had similar experiences, and they come and they show you how to do it. Maybe it's a 2-day event and they'll be there with you for those 2 days, and then they'll show you, or they'll, so that's what I'm saying, like it's like an ongoing process. And at the same time, these clubs also help you with, like during the job search, they bring in they try to bring in these leaders who will be like having this network, where you'll have this network opportunities where you'll network with them and you can connect with them on LinkedIn, and you can go through them and they can kind of recommend you if you want them to. So those things. And apart from that, then Duke has, as I was telling you, the career services, or apart from that too, like it's just not limited to getting a job. It's also limited to, okay, like you want to know about visa, or what visa status renewals and what you need to do. Like they bring in speakers where they talk about those things, and those, after that, like what to do, how to approach the visa status and how to work from there. So I feel the community organization in at Duke is really really very strong. And it is something which is just not again on paper or just for the sake of it, but they are actually doing some good work. Like all these projects that I was talking about, they are arranging it, they are bringing in leaders, and they are designing it like from the beginning till the end. So it is really recommendable.
That's great. That's great. And they actually really help you a lot. And what I've heard so far is it just gives you idea about the industry as well, that Duke is focusing on different like subcategories of the industry, be it supply chain, consulting, project management, and other more. And then obviously focusing on the trails of, if you're an international student and know more about what's coming next for you, and having like a committee who can answer more of your questions. So that's really amazing. Like you have folks around.
Yeah, I think there is a, I was not a part of it, but there are communities for international students as well. Like, of course, like there is something, I think, the
Cultural communities.
Hindu society and like different culture, different
Okay,
ethnicity,
got it.
and they organize this traditional events. Like for us it's Diwali, for Chinese people I think it's Chinese New Year. So the
Yeah.
big events in your ethnicity or your culture, they celebrate it together, or just to plan it. Like it requires so much to just plan it so people can show up, right? So that's huge. And I think those also involve not just current students but also alumni. So alumni for like years, they have been like involved in that process, which makes it like cool. Like, there's Diwali in your college and you can like dance, there's Garba. So it's just fun, they just make it more fun.
It's nice. I really like when colleges have, like my college also has those societies, and it just makes you more closer to your culture, to your country, and maybe you're not missing out on things.
Yeah,
Um, so it just makes you feel more welcomed and inclusive there, where you can be part of such
yeah,
societies and obviously learn and network, and you don't know how you can stumble upon folks and
yeah,
get something on your hands, maybe a job or maybe a good connection for life.
yeah.
So that's amazing. And like I really liked what Duke has done so far, and it's really impressive. So a great choice, and I would say a perfect dream university for you. And I am glad that you could actually experience all these things and come and talk about the university, because that's the tag we carry on for years now. Like we were part of that family and as part of the alumni group. But thank you so much, for sharing all those things. Before we just head off, like sign off, one last thing, like any sort of advice. I know you have shared a lot through the hour in between, but at the last, you want to like sum up to all the international students coming to Duke University, anything from somebody who has already done the course, anything that you want to give out as an advice.
I don't have one. I have like small stuff, but I'd just say, so if you're applying, if you haven't finished the application process, just to make sure that you know what electives you're looking for, what courses you're looking for, please look into your finances. That is something, it can get out of control. And if you do not manage them, so that is something, of course, like that is, if I don't say also, it's like something general they'll anyway look into. And then once you are here, as I was telling, like studies will go on. Just like apart from studies, it's very important you take your own time. A lot of people, they kind of tend to burn out because so many things are going on together. So stay calm, and just breathe and just go with the flow, do your projects, like take part in as many team building exercises as you can do, because at the end of the day, it really builds you as a product manager, I would say, if you're like targeting product management. And yeah, apart from that, yeah, I think this too. But academically, if I would have to say something, it's like electives are, they go away very soon. Like there are very some of the hot choices for the electives, which as soon as they come, they go away. Like if you are not selecting it within the given time frame, you cannot select them. And if it's something like it's only available in fall, so if you don't select it this time, and you are, if you are like for example planning for 2 semesters, you cannot do that at all. So you have to like wait for the next fall to select those. So uh, as all the alumni say, like plan everything like early. I did not do that, most of the alumni did not do that, but it's really important. Planning everything, like if you are looking for a part-time job, planning every, like if you can plan it from before. And then if you are looking into these courses, plan it from before. Okay, I want to do this course, so you're not confused coming here. Okay, like I'll figure out what I want to do, because you don't get the time once you are here. All the time you get is before you come here. So yeah, just planning, going with the flow, and keeping yourself healthy.
That's like perfect on the lines. And, you know, as part of the degree programs, you have to be like as steady, just on the tip of your toes, that you can't just buy out time on things, because if time goes off, you're done. So it's more of like, do not wait for that 11:59 p.m. Probably get thing done a day
Yeah.
before, because with the experiences that we come and share here, it's more of whatever we did not do properly, or maybe did not plan up properly, is something where you can be a step ahead than us, and get better on those things, so that you leave a good trail for others. So you
Right.
can maybe come up with different issues, and that could go up for the next batch to know, okay, this is something that to note for. But the one thing that goes same for everyone here is more of, just be sure what you want to do with every semester, and that's how you plan. So it's very important to be into that journaling thing, that you plan everything, you keep a track of things, so you know, okay, what next, what am I supposed to do for this week, this day, and you do not lose track of time
Yeah.
or the
And
space.
as I was saying to Saman, it's like I did not understand the importance of marking stuff or listing stuff or having notion. So it is so important. Like I knew, that's what I'm saying, like we heard it, we need to do it, but we did not do it right at the right time. And when we did it, it was already so late. So anything, like if you can write about your finances, whatever you are targeting, like with courses, or looking at the current job market, like it is so difficult right now. So just to keep a track of all your applications, start applying as early as possible. Like before we could still give a benefit of doubt and be a bit late, but looking at the current scenario, there is no time to be late. And like if you're doing that, you are kind of not doing your best, honestly. So yeah.
It's better to be early than to be late, because I know life before COVID, or life maybe before 2022, was different actually. What all of us have seen it from India is like, things get really easy. US is a land of opportunities. You get things really easy. There are a lot of opportunities. But with time, that has shrinked to a position where, the pool of unemployment is more as compared to number of positions. So you have to stand out in some ways or the other. So that is up to you, how you do that, how you plan things. And that's what, what we talk about here as well, that, how can you be different? Because every year people are graduating, and then with that time, a lot of people are getting laid off. So the pool is increasing day by day, and you have to stand out in some ways or the other, because everyone's like at the level of good. You have to be a little apart them. So yeah.
So- Something I heard from one of my mentors few days back was people who came to US or to other countries for for studies as international students, maybe Canada, for example. It was much easier for people 5 years back to get established here, start a career, go with your life much much easier than what you would perceive today. Like today, your dream of this international studies or the get yourself settled is not as clear as it used to be, or let's say not as easier as it used to be. Like, and I am exclusively saying that because it is a thing. Like, we don't want to just say people it's easy, because it's not. If it's hard, you got to say people it is hard right now. And if we are facing it, like, most probably it's not going away in the next year. So if someone's coming in the next year, they need to know it's already difficult, and it's just adding to the
Yeah.
difficult.
It's hard, it's competitive. That would be the word that I would use. That, maybe you are an all-rounder, but when you come to the batch of the class that you are part of, you'd see a lot of diverse groups, first of all, and then all of them are good. Like, they're good at their own skills, and that is something that makes you all in the same pool, and then you are competing for that one job. So it's very competitive, be it getting into a school or be it getting into a job. It's all competitive. So you have to stand out in some ways or possible. So yeah, that's life here. And I hope so. Like, for me, it was a good eye opener. I really liked what Duke has been doing and has done during your course program as well. And it's really commendable that the university helps at every stage. How much resources they could provide at their levels, it's up to you how much you take in, but it's something that's great what Duke has been doing so far. And I hope so all this information creates an impact, somebody gets helped and is into Duke. And I would be leaving down your LinkedIn handle below in the description so that folks could reach out to you for more questions that we couldn't get hold of during this hour. But I would really like to say thank you so much, Ananya, for making out time and coming up talking about all your experiences, because it really matters a lot. So far I never knew all of these things about Duke, and through you I could actually see what Duke has been into, how it helps the folks being international students, and that's the main thing that a university could do. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for being on ITSP Magazine to share your experience.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I could answer all your questions.
Totally, totally. If not, I guess folks would reach out to you and would spam your inbox. I would love that if that would happen. But for now, we'll just sign off and we'll get back with another episode soon. So stay tuned and bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Off the Record, a student abroad podcast with Saman Fatima, part of the ITSP Magazine podcast network. If you learned something new and this conversation made you think, then add this show to your favorite podcast player, subscribe to the ITSP Magazine YouTube channel, and share the ITSP Magazine podcast network with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to connect your brand to our conversations and our audience, visit itspmagazine.com to learn how to sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey.